Avni. I am your host. And with me in the studio today, I have Katherine Tack. Katherine, it is wonderful to have you. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Ian. It's so nice to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Awesome. I'm really excited for this conversation today. And for the people watching or live or the recording, I want to say that, I've met Katherine a while back, probably about 4 or 5 months ago.
Yes.
When all of a sudden you just came into my conscious awareness. There was like everyone was talking about Katherine, and everyone was talking about Akashic Records, and everyone was talking about you know, right, I need to meet this woman, and then we met, and so this is wonderful, and I want to share a little bit more about you with my audience. So tell us maybe a little bit about you.
Okay. Yes. So I am an author, an artist, and a spirit guide. I open the Akashic Records for my clients. That is my main focus. And so I learned
Sorry, of course. My phone got in the middle. Please repeat the last sentence.
I learned how to open the Akashic Records for myself, and I was blown away with the actual information that's allowed to come forward at this time, and how much love is actually available for everyone. And living in the third dimension, we actually can often lose sight of how much of it is available for us. And this is a beautiful way to understand yourself at a deeper level, understand who you are at a soul level, and actually start living the life that you're meant to be living, rather than the ones that people around you have told you you can't have. You can actually start stepping into your power, stepping into who you really are, and understanding why you might have chosen to be born into a family that rejects you, and who your soul journey, all these things. And so they're very, very lovely energy and way to open up and discover lots and lots and lots of things about yourself. And I think I'm going to waffle now, so I think I'll stop waffling and let you ask the next question.
Yes, that's my cue. So as you started this description, I just had a call. The electrician is here, so my mom was like, "Oh." So just to tell me if you already answered that question of how did you actually get started? How did you know that you were able to hear these guides, and that you had this ability to go deeper, and also the Akashic Records? How did you know that this is what you were doing?
This is the best question. Okay. So I always kind of knew that intuitively that I needed to do something spiritual, but I was quite spiritually nervous because of things that have happened in my past life. And also I chose a family that was anti-spirituality, anti-everything. So all my natural instincts were smothered by the family, like, oh no, don't go there, don't go there. So what I started to do, though, is I've started to actually look for answers outside of the family unit. And I came across a couple of people that helped me to clear some karma. And once I'd cleared that, I was a lot lighter in myself. And then I was able to ask for assistance. And I believe I asked my higher self, but I didn't know that term at that time, for assistance. And I woke up knowing this word, the Merkaba, Merkaba, or some people put an H on the end, and some people say Merkaba, some people say Merkaba, however you pronounce it, tomato, yeah. I woke up with this word resounding in my head, and I thought, I have to know everything about this. My higher self is just coming through, but I didn't know it was my higher self at that time. So I researched that, and I found out how to do that. And I did level 1, level 2. And once I'd done that, it was just amazing. Because what the Merkaba does is it drops your innate skills down into a place where you can get your hands on them. And when it does that, you will know unequivocally what you're meant to be doing with your life. It's just life-changing, just turns everything upside down on its head. And I thought, right, I'm going to take a deep breath. I probably won't tell my family what I'm doing because they just won't get it. I'm just going to do it. And as far as my family are aware, I'm still running my other business, which is great. But yeah, so things that I'd wished all my life that I could be. So maybe I thought, I wish I could be a psychic, but I know that's not right for me. I knew that. But I once I'd activated my Merkaba, I then very quickly found the Akashic Records and very quickly trained. And I would say that, which I would say something, which is what the record keepers and guides echo all the time, is follow the magic. The magic is never wrong. The people around you are wrong. They can tell you what you should and shouldn't be doing. They try to put you into a box that you don't belong in. But when you follow that magic of something that feels so exciting, if there's ever a subject that you just want to read everything, every single word about it, or learn everything about it, that is the correct path for people to follow. And I get that from the guides all the time. They say follow the magic, and then here we are. So I worked out how to do that, and I was just blown away by everything. All the myths of the third dimension that just never sat right with me were opened up and exposed. So all the untruths that I'd been told and everything that were trying to make me live a life that didn't fit at all, and that made me actually quite, I wouldn't say depressed, but miserable, really. I was a bit miserable having to do this 3D life and do it the way this family says I must do it and all that sort of thing. So now I was able to unhook from the matrix. I call it the matrix, the 9 to 5. And I was able to then work in a place of flow. I was able to go into a place of flow, yes. And I flow with the money, I flow with the energy, I flow with the energy of other people. And I would just say that my life is completely different to how it used to be, and so much better. I wake up in what I would call heaven every day. I have a heavenly life. I don't mind being in the third dimension anymore. Whereas for a long time, I just thought, when is this over? When is it over? I'm just going to survive. How many more days do I have to survive with this?
And you say when you are getting in touch with, when you say when you're connected with the Merkaba, or when you activate it, you know, it becomes known to you what it is that you're meant to be doing, or I
Yes.
guess that there's also some other questions that
It's a big.
become available. But how, I mean, will you tell me, you know, you're meant to be a teacher, or you're meant to be a priest, or you're meant to be a bus driver? Would that kind of thing, would you tell me?
It could do. It's the one thing the record keepers and guides don't want to do is limit you. So they don't want to put you in a box because you've just come out of a box. So you don't want to do that to you. But they will. What they do for me when I open the records for somebody else is they'll bring in a past life that you've had, and within that past life, it'll outline quite a few things that you've done before at a soul level. So you might be a shaman or a priestess or a healer. You could be any of those things coming forward. And once the record keepers and guides bring that past life forward, that will be almost like a blueprint for you to say, okay, if I've done that before, I can do it again. And you might feel that you might feel too nervous to do those sorts of things because of past life experiences you've had which didn't end well, because you were spiritual and because you were getting ahead. Maybe you had too much power, maybe you had you had all these amazing gifts, and other people might have been jealous of them, or afraid of how much power you had. So that was taken away from you. You might have been silenced in a past life. So to come into this lifetime, although our slate gets wiped clean as we come in, we also have some ability to have a fear. So that's why some people have an irrational fear about flying or snakes or sharks, because maybe that life ended very badly. And that's the same with spiritual people. We come forward, we know we're spiritual, but we're kind of afraid of that as well. And then we go into the records and we uncover what happened, not in detail, just an overview. We don't like to get too graphic or gruesome. No, not my personality at all. And the record keepers and guides are quite happy to leave the past in the past. But it's sometimes helpful and healing for people to understand why they might be afraid of stepping into who they really are. But once there will be some signs, like sometimes people come through as leaders, they were great spiritual leaders and things like that, and they might have chosen a career in the 9 to 5 that is to do with leading people, or they might be a manager, but again, they might be a little bit afraid of that. So we uncover that and understand why. And because I had so much success once I'd cleared my karma, I wasn't too surprised when the record keepers and guides brought out karma clearing and ancestral clearing for me to heal people in the records. That's a great way to actually start. So once we clear that out, it actually raises our vibration and removes those fears, because we are living in a different time now. You're not going to be silenced the way you were silenced in the past for speaking your truth anymore. So you're not going. So you don't. That's an unfounded fear. It's not real. The same as you're not going to be bitten by a shark, or well, that's unlikely. The same thing. The same thing. Like that. So we uncover that. Yes.
So people get an understanding because of past life of something that they can potentially continue or pick up again in this life.
That's correct. Yes.
And then a lot of the time people would say, well, what do I do with it? How do I move forward? And that is kind of a big thing for them to move into that next phase. What do the guides give guidance on how to do this, or who they should meet, or who they should talk to, or is it more abstract than that?
Well, it's absolutely different for every person. I have had some very specific information come through for certain people, but then other people, they can be a bit more open and abstract with their guidance. They will give you certain things to follow, and they will give you specific advice in certain areas. So that is good. They also, like I said, they don't want to put you in a box, and they also are very cautious about predicting the future for you. So what they do, so they'll say, look, we're not psychics. Psychics would be quite happy to tell you the future. But the record keepers and guides would say, well, that's a possible future. That's not an exact. The future is unwritten for you. There might be a future version of you that has completed this X, Y, and Z, but you personally have free will, and you might change your mind overnight. So what they will do is they'll say, look, this is your blueprint and your pattern and the hope for this lifetime. Before you came forward, we see that you sat down with your higher self and you planned this plan, this box plan. It's up to you now if you want to go ahead and do that plan. You have free choice. We know that you are capable of doing this because you've done it in a past life, but you actually might just remember. So say you were a psychic in a past life, then being a psychic in this life will be very easy for you, because you just have to remember how to use your skills and tools. When you activate your Merkaba, that becomes much easier. It's much, much, much easier to access all your clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, all those things come online, and that helps you to do that. Or perhaps you're meant to be a shaman, or perhaps you're meant to be a crystal worker or a Reiki master. It depends on who you are, but they will say that. They'll say, this is what you wanted. It's supposed to happen. It was supposed to happen like this. And even like family relationships. So I talk all the time about my dear dad and how he and I started in a very, very bad place. And he was supposed to take one look at me and say, love you, adore you, I'm going to look after you, and everything is going to be great together. But he didn't. He did the exact opposite. So we had to work through that. But that was the plan. He agreed at a soul level that I would be his daughter. And in a physical place, and from a physical reality, he didn't want that. But once I went into the records, I discovered that actually it was a very difficult thing for him to have a girl child, very difficult. And he agreed that at a soul level. So he didn't enjoy that life, that he has this child, this girl child. It's like he felt very punished for having this child. But at the same time, once I was able to work through the problems at a soul level that we both had, I was then able to clear that out. And now he's very relaxed with me. He's very happy to be with me. And my mum even says the only time he relaxes is when he comes on holiday and stays in my home. Then he actually relaxes. And she says, that's great, because then she can relax too, because he doesn't relax often. So I've actually been through the Akashic Records. I've understood what happened, where it went wrong in the past. And it was up to me in this lifetime to say, I could react two ways. I can turn around and say to him, actually, I don't approve of the way you treat me. And I could be enemies with him forever. Or I could say, what's actually going on here? Why this big dislike of me? What have I actually, I've never done a thing. I've never said a thing. I've never done a thing. But it's not from this lifetime. It's from past lives that there were problems. Anyway, I won't go into too much detail about that now, but just to say I could break the cycle. I broke the cycle so that we don't have to do that again and again and again.
And this is, for me, this is really fascinating and also very timely, because I keep talking about that. I find myself keep talking to people about, you have a choice if to take things at face value, or if you want to really understand what is the bigger scheme of things, how come this is happening.
Right.
And so I really like that you are saying the same thing, that actually, yes, you have a choice. You can look at it, yes, I'm this was done to me, or you can go a little bit deeper and really walk out.
It was done.
The purpose, what exactly for you, but what is it? What is it that it's here to give you some sort of a message and a push and something to aid you on this great soul journey.
Absolutely.
So it's really fascinating, and I think a lot of people would want to know that, really, because our starting in life is very often so fraught.
It is. And we choose that on purpose. And a lot of people can think, I would never choose that. What? I was crazy. No, I would never choose that. But actually we do, because we know we need to learn. We need to make the change. One thing I just want to mention quickly as well is that I've never openly spoken about the healing with my father, because that would be very uncomfortable for him. So you can do this all offline. It's all about the energy. So you can make the changes for yourself, and then the ripple out effect is that the other people in your life feel that change. They can actually feel the shift, and then they can come. And ultimately, we want to create the emotion of love. Love is like such a high vibrational energy. And if all humans could focus on love, we would advance tremendously. But, we are where we are. So that's that's the underlying message from the record keepers and guides. Move to love, move to love. They love us unconditionally, no matter what we do, and we should love others unconditionally. So, and that's very healing for many people. Yeah.
And that is really, really fascinating. And I want to ask about the karma in ancestral clearing.
Yes.
But I have to just pause for a second, because as live recording is happening, someone is trying to say a message. That's the electrician. Well, he didn't tell me he's coming, on our time of recording, so he would have to wait. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Can't do anything without you talking to him.
What are the chances?
Yes. Well, I guess I want to know. Wait.
He can't do his work without talking to you.
Yes, and I'm in a recorded
What
meeting.
am I supposed to do?
What am I supposed to do?
Hello, electrician.
The family drama that is happening here as we are live in a recording thing. Katherine, I'm going to have to just
Pause.
go away for a second. If you want to choose something to share with the audience, that's great. Or just wait for me and I'll come back. One moment. Sorry.
It gives me a moment to have a sip of tea. I can actually talk about another relationship, one of my brothers that I worked with for a little while, and he had a problem. He worked for me for a while, but we worked for another company together. I was his manager, and he got annoyed with me one day and he couldn't really articulate why. So he felt like he fell out with me. I felt like he fell out with me, and I couldn't understand what I'd done. And he still to this day cannot really explain what I did. So, but anyway, that's not important. The important thing is that I worked with my higher self to connect with him. And I just sent a message from my higher self to his higher self. I wrote it out because it's not good to waffle when you're talking higher selves. I wrote out this message just saying to him that I'm terribly sorry for whatever it is that I did. And I don't know what it is, but that's not important. I've obviously done something to upset him. And I wrote that out, and I read it out to my higher self, and I sent it to him, and he got that message, but he didn't know that I'd sent the message. He thought that his higher self was telling him to mend fences. So he came to me, I think within a day or two, and mended the fences, and we're best of friends again, and that's all fine. So energetic work to heal relationships and move to a better place is very, very important. And I've helped a lot of people with that. Sometimes if an elderly person is hard of hearing, you can actually speak to their higher self and they will get the message as well. So that is also a very, very useful tool, the higher self. It's very good with helping you I'm just talking about the higher self here now, and just talking about how exciting it is to work energetically and heal relationships. You don't have to do face-to-face, especially if it's very difficult to have a conversation. Like my father and I, we do not speak. It's just, we just don't. And also, if I was just mentioning, if somebody, like some people have elderly relatives that are very hard of hearing and stubborn, and if you send a message from your higher self to their higher self, they will get that message, and it takes out all that sort of 3D explosion, things like that, and helps everybody move to a place of love and move forward on their journey together. Okay. So
I love that I came back at this part because other than running up and down the stairs, there's exactly that, right? We all the time we are reacting to people. We are reacting to family members and people that trigger us. And I love that you're mentioning that actually when you go into soul level, you can actually solve things because our souls know everything about us. And it's very different to solving it at that level rather than in the physical 3D one. So before I rushed off, I was asking about the karma and ancestral healing or clearing. Tell us a little bit about that. Because I mean, one question I have, I remember reading a book about the soul contract once, and the question of karma came up because we say that karma, a lot of the time I know that we say, right, you do good things, so good things happen, and you do bad things and bad things happen. But I understand that this is not necessarily the meaning of karma, but it's actually that when you do, everything that you do has an impact somewhere. And actually, it's not for us to judge or to, punish or whatever, because this will be taken care of in, on that soul level.
yes.
So how is the karma click? Yeah.
That actually, I do get quite a few readings where somebody will come to me, and for example, this can happen in a divorce situation where the wife will come for a reading, and she will go on and on and on about how the husband is getting away with this, and he's getting away with that, and he doesn't do this, and he doesn't do that, and is he going to get punished one day? This is very important to them, that he gets punished, because he's not being punished. It's not okay. And so the record keepers and guides will say, we have to take ourselves out of that situation and do not worry about being the judge, jury, and executioner for other people. We focus on our own lives and we focus on what we are meant to be doing. And then the karma is such a complicated subject, but we can create karma when we say the word forever, I love you forever, that's creating karma. I hate you forever, that's creating a different kind of karma. We create karma with our thoughts when we think something. We create more karma when we say things, and then we create even more karma when we do. So when we take action. So yeah, so it is a complicated subject, but mostly I would say that it goes round and round in circles, like you're on a hamster wheel going round and round. And when we unhook from that and understand what we're doing, we can really, truly make some big differences and improve our lives tremendously when we unhook from that loop we're going round. So I don't know if I've answered your question.
Well, it was a very interesting answer. Definitely, I was learning a lot from that. And then I guess what I was interested in asking really is when you say it improves your life, how is that improvement coming about? Is it something that you get up in the morning and you think, actually, I don't feel the same way, or is there something else that is
Yes. Okay.
in play?
This is such a fascinating subject, and the record keepers and guides touch on it all the time. So they talk about forgiveness also. So let's link it to karma and our conversation about forgiveness and karma. So if we do not forgive something that's happened to us, then our lives are miserable. And often we can also think about it like this. One of my brothers was quite naughty always, and he would do things, and maybe he breaks my toys when I'm very small, and I'm sat there with all these broken toys. He's cut them up, stomped on them, killed it, whatever. Then he goes off and he has a nice day and he's playing in the sun and he's doing everything, breaking somebody else's stuff, I'm sure. But I'm sat there, and if I focus only on that behavior, then I will have a very bad day. And I focus on the loss. I've lost all these things. That's very sad. But if I forgive him, I might not forgive him to his face, because he would then do it again and see that he can just walk all over me. So I don't do that. But I forgive him energetically in my heart and lock my toys away in future. Then I can move on with my day. But I promise you that if you do not forgive the situation, you will not be able to move forward. You'll just bounce around in a very negative place, holding on to this fear, anger, or unforgiveness. And another very interesting thing that I teach is about entities and how they, if we had to do something like take alcohol or recreational drugs, we are opening the door wide open for the entities to come into our life, and they love to control us. So, but if we choose not to forgive something, then we open a window for them to come in. So we're not the whole door, but there's a window now open, and it's like inviting them in. And they love nothing more than for you to be angry, bitter, resentful. And when you're in that angry, bitter, resentful place, what you'll notice is that bad things keep happening to you. It's like you're attracting negativity over and over again. So the record keepers and guides teach us about love, very high vibration. They also teach us that it's very important to raise your vibration up to those higher places. When you raise your vibration, all of a sudden you become a better match to more money, better people, more life experiences, more exciting things. So you get what you focus on. If you want to focus on that negativity and focus on that person did that, that's outrageous, he squashed all my toys, or this husband is getting away with murder and he's not looking after the children. If you focus on that, you're actually wasting your life. And the entities, the dark entities, love that. They were great. They love you to be confused, unhappy. There's no way you can achieve all the magical things that you've come forward to achieve if you're sitting going around in this very negative circle. So we have to unhook from that. And I like the words break agreement. I break agreement with rejection. I will be accepted. I break agreement with fear. I break agreement with resentment and all these things. And once we start to do that, we can unhook from that negativity and we can raise our vibration. So yeah.
But this is the question of forgiveness is a really interesting one for me, because of course I always talk about, you know, the bigger picture and all of that, but I also know from people, and also some, it's very hard to forgive and actually feel the forgiveness.
Yes.
Right, you really need to turn things around, and that's what I think kind of stuff that I talk about, because it's you need to understand how come these things happen in the first place, for you to see that actually it wasn't done to you, it was done for you. But as I say this, I am so aware of you know, everything that is going on in the world, and of course where I'm originally from, you know, in Israel, and all the war and stuff that is going on there, and you know, last night I was reading something before I went to sleep, and I was like, okay, maybe that was a big mistake, because I was so sad about everything that was going on, and so I know that forgiveness is, yes, as an idea, of course, is wonderful, but how do you do this? How do you actually find that place that you can say, I will never forget, but I forgive?
Yes. Well, one of the things I know without a shadow of a doubt is that the dark ones are working through some humans to create this chaos in the first place. They love to create war, confusion, pain, suffering. And if I allow that to continue, then I'm letting the dark ones win. It's not actually the humans that are winning, because those humans that are doing those things, I can tell you right now, they're not happy. They're not happy beings.
Yeah.
So I'll take it back to my own experience with my father. He was a raging alcoholic, raging. I'm telling you, he was functioning. He always got up and went to work, but I can tell you that he did not know what he was doing when he was drinking. And that's when a lot of anger and things came through him. So if I punished him for that, that would just create a negative circle, whereas actually dark entities were working through him because he was taking alcohol and opening the door. So they were coming in and controlling him. So that's another thing that we need to look at. Do you want the entities to win? Do you? As a light worker, you can't reason with entities. You cannot. You can reason with humans, but you can't reason with entities. They are so messed up. They can't. They just can't get there. It's like you may as well go talk to a brick wall and tell that brick wall to stop being a brick wall, because it's just ridiculous. You know, it'll just not understand you. It will be a brick wall. So this is what we're dealing with. And this is one of the things that I find so exciting about the Akashic Record readings, is that you can go in and find out, is it this person doing this, or is it an entity doing this? What's going on? Why is that person? And maybe we need to look at those people as weak because they are allowing the entities to work through them. Or maybe they are taking drugs, narcotics for recreational purposes, or alcohol, or whatever they're doing. So they're not even in their right mind. But that is one of the problems that the record keepers and guides have. That's why they've been given dispensation to come forward to humans now and explain what's going on, because humans were taking too long to evolve and understand the love and forgiveness. And I am one of those people that I totally don't want people to walk all over me. I had enough of that when I was young. I don't want it anymore. It's a very big thing for me. So I understand not telling somebody to their face that you've forgiven them. I totally understand that. But if I don't forgive, I can't move forward. I just cannot achieve, because I'm going to see we're in different vibrations. So my work is up here, and my anger and fear and all that would be down here. So where do I want to be? Where do I want to be on the scale? Do I want to live this amazing life and rainbows and butterflies and unicorns and happiness? Or do I want to be down here where my dad wanted me to be and where he was for a long time? So where do we want to be? You have to choose.
And I had a conversation with one client, because she was talking about her sister, and she said, she was very disappointed that the sister didn't show up for when they needed to look after the mum. And she said, well, I've learned to accept it, and I let it go, because I'm like, maybe she really needed this holiday that she actually went on. And she said, and I'm okay with it. And I was like, well, you're saying that you're okay with it, but your whole energy is showing me that you're not okay with it, because it's still sitting on you very heavily. Every time you connect with that thought about the time that you needed to take the mum out of hospital, in this case,
Yeah.
it's the energy is still there. And then we looked at, how come, right? And
Yeah.
we could see so clearly that if the system was there, she would have trumped all over my client's confidence, and actually she wouldn't be doing what she really felt was the right thing to do. And all of a sudden she saw that if the system was there, it wouldn't be the success that it actually ended up being.
Just,
And then the forgiveness came, because it wasn't about forgiveness anymore. It was about acceptance. And now I understand. Now I see things that I couldn't have seen before. And now the energies, of course, are raised, and so on. So I think it's wonderful, actually, that we are having this conversation, because it's when we look at things face value, we can see, really, it was done to me. It's in my past, or it's in my present, and we connect with that. And as you say, we don't have a very good life, because we're constantly going back into that. But
yeah.
when we see things from a different perspective, then we can move forward.
Yeah, you can spiral up, or you can spiral up, or you can spiral down. I talk about up and down, but actually we can't just go straight up. We tend to go, humans move up. And also, one other thing that I find so important about karma and the other person, they will face judgment day, and that will be their problem. And sometimes I say to people, don't you just feel sorry for that person? When it comes to judgment day, it might not be when they cross over, it might be in this lifetime while they're still alive. Something big is going to happen, and they're going to have to fix the stuff that they've done to other people. And that is karma. And we can trust that the universe has a much bigger plan and a much bigger map of what's going on than we can understand. We can just be in this small, tiny section of the maze or the puzzle, and we can see what's wrong there, but we can't see the bigger picture about exactly. That's exactly. And when we let go of that negativity, we can actually lift ourselves up. And then I have to say, when you activate your Merkaba, it lifts you up into 5D. And instead of being down in the third dimension, looking up and saying, oh, I need help, or archangels help me, or whatever, when you activate your Merkaba, you go straight up into 5D. So all of a sudden, you're sitting next to the archangels, you're sitting next to the creator, and you can actually feel part of the team. And you go, oh, now I'm looking down at the 3D, and now I'm seeing these people that are, doing all these negative things to other people. And I actually feel like sorry for them, because I don't have, I just feel like they are suffering. They are not happy. Those people are not happy with that they're doing that. I can see it now from this perspective. And it looks like they're just enjoying hurting other people. If you see any enjoyment, it's the dark ones. They are enjoying
The other ones.
Yes.
And I want to ask, really, about things like chronic conditions or cancer and things like that. Health situations that are coming up, and of course, we spoke before in the summit for natural cancer healing, that I held a couple of months ago, or something like that. And that's when we really wanted to help people understand how come they have these chronic conditions or cancer in this lifetime. What can you share with people about that?
Great question. I love your questions today. Okay, so there's two things that normally come up in the records. Number one is, if somebody is a natural healer and they've chosen in this lifetime not to be a healer, sometimes a disease will come to them, and they are then kind of guided and feel drawn to healing so that they heal themselves, because they'll start with the traditional medicines and they'll think, oh, this is awful, it tastes like I'm having chemicals, I hate this, I hate it, I hate this. No, but I want to survive, I want to live. So that energy will force them into learning how to heal and moving and shifting into a different vibration. But then the other way is, sorry, let me just think what they would say. That again, we have certain things to overcome, and also often the body, if it's out of balance, if you are forced to, like if I carried on working in the 9 to 5 the way my family wanted it, I think I would have become very ill. I was just so unhappy. And there's studies shown, even to every living organism, like this lovely plant next to me. Do you think I say good morning to it every day and send it some love and energy, and it responds? It just grows more leaves all the time. And if somebody is receiving negativity every day and they're in a negative environment, even a plant or anything, you'll start to see it will start to wither and it will become less than it wants to be. So if we're not on our true path, if we are denying who we are at a soul level, we can actually make ourselves very, very ill. We believe these untruths, and of course the dark ones again are behind it all, laughing that we are now compromised. And but the exciting thing is that because we're energetic beings and we are sentient beings, the minute we change, that split second, we change, we shift energy, we can heal ourselves, we can live the life we want, we can choose that if we choose it. Of course, we have freedom of will. But yes, I hope I answered your question.
Absolutely. And I mean, this is exactly, what I believe as well. And I love that you're saying that, because like sometimes people come to me and they come with things that the doctors have described as incurable, or that they really have no way of knowing how to heal this thing, or they actually prescribe things that medicine and so on that really kills the body. And people come to me and I'm like, I don't know. I have no limits. I don't know where we're going. I don't know anything, but I'm going to do everything that I can to help you heal. And people, when they really, exactly what you said, when they change how they understand their lives and their trajectory and the stress and where they are at the moment, things just fall by the wayside. So there's people that says, oh, I have this diagnosis, and it's not, no one has ever healed, or people are very strict in that. And then there's others that say, I'm leaning to understand, where am I operating from fears and limitations, where am I stopping myself? And when they understand and they do that switch, all of a sudden there's no there's no illness, there's no disease, and it's magic. But it's magic that they can do, and they can bring it about. All they need to do is, of course, let go of that.
And I call it break agreement. They just have to break
Right.
agreement with their illness and stop saying, I'm ill, I'm this, I'm that, I'm the other thing. They break agreement with it. They say, no, I've had enough. No more. It's gone. Do you know what I heard? I think I was about 10 or 12 years old when I heard for the first time Einstein's theory that humans only use 10% of their brain. And I thought, no, that can't be. And the more I learn, the more I think he was so right. We are so capable of doing amazing, amazing things. And just because it hasn't been done yet doesn't mean it's not possible. Everything is possible. That's why the records keep getting broken every time for running or Olympics and stuff, because the next person says, well, I'm going to do better. And just because it hasn't been done before doesn't mean it's not possible. But yeah, so that's a bit of a 3D example. And then energetically, we do amazing things. Absolutely. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's wonderful, because it really gives this very clear message and hope that actually people, we are allowed to not know and keep on going. And we are allowed to say, do you know what? There's only 5% chance, but I'm going to be one of the 5%. I'm going to do what feels right to me. I'm going to break free from, family limitations and, fears, and I'm going to do my thing. We are limitless. then why do we insist so much on limiting ourselves and then feeling so miserable and, like the title of the talk, right? Feeling stuck.
Feeling stuck. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. We have to let go of that pattern. And some people seem to enjoy moaning about it. Don't you feel sometimes like it sucks the energy out of you when you find these people that just moan on and on and on? So, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. We've got to let
Yeah.
go and move on.
So, Catherine, we could probably really go on forever. There's so many questions, and this is all really fascinating. But tell the listeners or the viewers, where can they find you, and also what a typical engagement with you is like. And also, I know that you are teaching this stuff. So,
Yes, that was a
please.
really fun day when the Akashic Record Keepers and Guides told me that I'm a teacher. You could just peel me up off the floor. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm not a teacher. Are you sure? So that was funny. Yeah, then, okay, so you can find my website at Akashic Record Readings with an S, Akashic Record Readings UK.com. And you could book a 1 hour session with me, or I've trained other people how to do this work. So if you get to the website and you find somebody on there that appeals to you, that you resonate with, then you could book a reading with them. The reading happens on via Zoom, and you get a recording at the end of that reading, and we'll go in and work out what's going on for you at a soul level, who you are, what advice the record keepers and guides give you. And yeah, so the record keepers and guides, it's different every time, but I do give people homework. So they have different things that they've asked me to put together. Like I've got a forgiveness audio that I give away for free at the end of the reading if somebody needs it, and things like that. If they are moved to, so I personally teach karma clearing. They've shown me how to do that, but I will give you homework on that as well. And you'd have to do it another 6 times, for example. And they might ask you to start working with your higher self. I'll give you a free workshop on that as well, so you can start doing that. So there are a few giveaways as well that I give every reading. So yeah, I think that's it. We'll just do a very nice deep dive. We can look at relationships with other people, if you've had a past life with them, and how that works. So yeah, it's a very involved, very detailed 1 hour reading.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, I've had mine done, so I loved it, and I definitely recommend that. It's very enlightening. Catherine, thank you so much for being here with us today. It was wonderful. It was entertaining, also with with my little, you know, 3D situations. But really, thank you so much for being here with us. And of course, all of your information is going to be in the show notes, so people can find your links and follow you. And thank you for everything, because you know it's only when someone like you comes along and help us see the light that we can raise our own energy and bring light to our lives and the lives of others. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Nev. Have a very magical rest of your day. And to everybody out there, sending lots of love, high vibrational love. Have a good day.
Wonderful.